You've probably heard of JelloApocalypse, an animation channel most known for the Welcome To series of videos making fun of websites such as Tumblr, YouTube, Kickstarter, etc. His latest upload, however, sticks out like a sore thumb. It's a thinly veiled propaganda piece that feels like something that came straight out of the murky depths of CNN. It starts off as a simple plea to vote in the midterms, but quickly escalates into a fear-mongering tirade that would make Goebbels proud. I can almost hear you scream,
"Oh my god, you just hate the video because it doesn't align with your political views."
No, my dear strawman of a detractor, that's not the reason. I can appreciate a different perspective. What I don't appreciate, however, is deception, manipulation, and sanctimonious preaching. And the video in question has all of that aplenty. Before we start, I want to point out that I don't have a horse in this race. I'm not from the US. Nevertheless, I try to keep an eye on the political happenings there, so I understand the situation well enough to spot how dishonest Jello's video is. With all that out of the way, let's begin. I'll be skipping some parts and focus only on the more outrageous claims.
This is a message for my American viewers. Vote. Vote, vote, vote. Vote on Tuesday, November the 6th. Vote now if you can. Get your friends to vote. Get your family to vote. Get everyone you know to vote. Vote even if they shut down your usual polling place.
Hold it. Run that back.
Wait a minute. Go right.
There, freeze that.
Full screen.
Okay, freeze that.
Tighten up on that wheel.
Vector in on that guy by the back wheel.
Zoom in right here on this spot.
I see you are using a very fair and balanced source here. No bias whatsoever. And speaking of sources, note how links to the articles shown in the video are conspicuously absent from the video description.
Vote even if you think it's rigged.
Trump, Putin, Russian collusion.
Trump, Russian sort of collusion.
Trump, Russian, possible collusion.
Trump, Russian, metal collusion.
Trump, Russia, possible collusion.
Trump, Russian, potentially collusion.
Trump, Russia, possible collusion.
Trump, Russian, possible collusion.
Trump, Russian, bot collusion.
Trump, Russia, Russian collusion. Trump, Russia, possible collusion.
Russian hacked our election. Here comes a big change.
Vote even if you think your vote doesn't matter.
Popular vote is irrelevant. It's like saying,
But our team scored more kills.
after losing a capture the flag match. USA is not a unitary state. It's a federation of partially self-governing entities. If presidential elections were decided by popular vote, states with higher populations would determine the outcome. Candidates would only need to cater to the interests of these large populations, turning the rest of the country into what amounts to puppet states. This is also the reason why each state, regardless of its population, is represented by exactly 2 senators. Here's a helpful diagram that demonstrates why the Electoral College exists.
Democracy isn't about waiting for someone else to change things when things are so obviously wrong. Democracy is about waiting for you and your voice. Vote. Don't vote for a color. Don't vote for a party. Vote for the people who will help other people. Because that's what a government is for. Helping people.
I was only 9 years old. I loved the state so much. I'd pray to the state every night before bed, thanking it for the life I've been given. State is love, I say. State is life. My dad hears me and calls me a statist. I knew he was just jealous of my devotion to the state.
If you voted for the current administration because you genuinely thought they would really help America, that's fine. That's what you should always do. Your vote and your voice matter. But don't be afraid to look at our country now and reconsider.
Here we go again. Trump attacks projections for immigrants from shithole countries. Is there any evidence that he actually said shithole countries? So far we have a claim by Dick Durbin, as well as a bunch of vague, wishy-washy testimonies from other politicians who sorta kinda confirm that Trump might have used a vulgar term, which might or might not have been shithole. Not that he would be wrong. Haiti, for example, is a shithole, both literally and figuratively. Its capital, Port-au-Prince, doesn't even have a sewage system. Not to mention that while moral busybodies were pretending to be outraged by such colorful language on the behalf of other countries, it seems that the ones who were supposed to feel insulted took it pretty well. As for the very fine people story, well, there's a reason you didn't link the story in the description, Jello. The title is pure clickbait. Not that Jello is a stranger to clickbait. Even the article itself contradicts the title. Where could this story be from?
Oh no, that sucks.
There's nothing wrong with having backed the wrong horse. There is something wrong with seeing that horse running towards a cliff and refusing to get off, just because it's your horse.
White nationalist pipeline, huh? The article is nothing but an opinion piece. It makes several bold declarations that are either unsourced or sourced from other leftist rags, such as Huffington Post. The author is in favor of confiscating the land from farmers based on their race. But that's totally not racist or anything. Besides, that worked out so well for Zimbabwe. The same author also wrote this SJW piece of trash that sounds like something directly from Tumblr. Wait, didn't Jello trash Tumblr and SJWs that inhabit it in a video from a while back? Oh, that's right. He pulled a Maddox and half-assedly disowned his old creation, going as far as to comparing it to racially insensitive cartoons of the past, only to immediately backpedal a little and declare it to be still mostly true. Note the paragraph about not monetizing it anymore. It will be important later.
Vote. Vote as though children are being separated from their parents at the border. Vote as though it's your child being separated from you.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Don't worry. Joe Biden got you covered there. I'll let Razorfist handle this one.
I would like Stormy Daniels with a 12-pack of tissue paper Trojans. There's always a catch. Turns out the photo that fired up this inane controversy dates back to an Arizona Republic newspaper propaganda piece from 2014. Under the Obama administration. And its institution, by the way, dates back to the year of our Lemmy, 1981. Meaning this policy stood for 3 goddamn decades, yet no one on the left gave the faintest fuck until Trump was elected president.
Vote like a black man was hanged from a tree for protesting police violence, and police killing black men just for being black.
You left-wing leaning parasite. You expect me to sit here and listen to your drivel?
Interesting. According to the police, it was suicide. Even the article itself doesn't justify the clickbait title. In any case, this is an ongoing investigation, so jumping to conclusions is neither helpful nor honest. Also, police killing black men just for being black? Fucking really, Jello?
Vote like your president is a nationalist, because he is.
And this is bad because... Jello actually elaborated on this in a Tumblr post.
Nationalism, specifically nationalism, has always resulted in disaster for some outgroup. Because nationalism is about assuming your group is superior, and it needs to stay superior. Your country might even need to be cleansed so it can stay superior. And that means the people you find inferior need to go away. This usually involves putting them in cages, or deporting them, or killing them.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Where do you even get these definitions from? What you described is called chauvinism. And while a subset of nationalists are chauvinists, it's dishonest to equate the two. Just like it's dishonest to call all Muslims terrorists, just because some of them are. It's clear that you, Jello, never heard of civic nationalism. Let's see. Liberal values, freedom, tolerance, equality, individual rights? Yeah, how evil and depraved. Surely, these dangerous beliefs inevitably lead to ethnic cleansings and concentration camps. Okay, let's be generous and assume you meant ethno-nationalism. So, ethno-nationalism is evil. Okay. Does it mean you oppose Israel? Do you deny Jews the right to statehood? Why do you hate Jews? Are you a Nazi? Later in the video, you express your disdain for border control and enforcing immigration law. Does it mean you support open borders for Israel? Are you alt-right? Oh. Moving on.
I think those things are bad.
How stunning and brave. It's so rare to see people who openly say that murder is bad.
Because personally, I like humans.
Unless they happen to be nationalists.
And I think that wanting to kill certain ones because of where they were born, or how much melanin is in their skin, or because they worship their own god is evil.
Press F to pay respects to the countless guerrillians who lost their lives to Trump's genocidal spree. Well, that's enough of this claptrap. Let's get back to the video.
Vote like the term alt-right is now a household term for fascism and hate. Because it is.
Funny how you failed to mention Antifa, a domestic terrorist group committing violence against civilians.
Vote like Jewish people are being gunned down in a synagogue like it's 1939. Because they are.
You forgot to mention that the guy who did it was a rabid anti-Trumper. I guess you don't hear that on CNN.
Vote like you love humans. Vote like you love all humans, and you believe that no one should be deported or beaten or killed because of how they look, or where they were born, or who they love, or who they are.
What about criminals? Like the illegal who murdered Molly Tibbetts.
Vote because you love America.
Love your country by allowing illegals from the third world to come there and wreck it. Because it worked so great for Europe. Also, for someone who claims to love your country, you seem to resent the very principles it was built upon. Why did the American Revolution happen? Because the colonies were denied the right to self-governance. They had to abide by the rules that they had no say in. At the same time, a new national identity started to emerge. More and more colonists no longer self-identified as British, but instead felt that they were American. This became the catalyst for the revolt against the British rule that grew into a full-fledged war. The adoption of the Declaration of Independence marked the birth of the American nation. In case you haven't figured it out by now, let me spell it out. The founding fathers were nationalists. Moreover, the supreme law of the US, the Constitution, starts with "We the people of the United States." It's a declaration of the national identity. Your constitution is rooted in nationalism. I'm sure that by providing all this exposition, I've committed the sin of foreign-splaining or something. As you might imagine, Jello's video wasn't well received, to put it mildly. He lost more than 5,000 subscribers, and the comments section was full of people expressing their dissatisfaction. So, in the face of such adversity, Jello decided to go full Sarkeesian and disabled comments. Later, he also unlisted the video. In the aforementioned Tumblr post, where he disowned his Welcome to Tumblr video, Jello also stated that the reason for unlisting and disabling comments was the fact that it is no longer relevant. Midterm elections are over after all. He also added,
I only kept the comments section open from the start because negative interaction, like comments and dislikes, encourage the YouTube algorithm to share your content just as much as positive interaction does.
In other words, the sole reason for allowing comments was to manipulate the algorithm. He wasn't interested in criticism, corrections, and counterarguments. He sees comments not as expressions of opinion from fellow humans he vocally proclaims his love for, but as a means to an end. It's almost as if he doesn't even consider the possibility of being wrong. Which is ironic, since a good chunk of the same post is him apologizing for being wrong in his old video about Tumblr. However, the most telling detail, at least for me, is his response to the question, was it worth it? To Jello, his subscribers aren't people, they are assets. When he looks at his fans, he only sees dollar signs. This is why I suspect that there is more to the unlisting of the video than he admits. Maybe he doesn't want it to sit there in the open and continue alienating his fans. I mean ad revenue providers. After all, he intends to keep the video he denounced and compared to racist cartoons public, but unlists a video he believes to be correct? Sure, he doesn't monetize that Tumblr video anymore. Not because of any moral objection to profiteering from his own self-admitted bigotry, but because of a copyright claim on the music used there. It still attracts users, who might stay and check out the rest of the videos on offer. More revenue in the end, and that's what really matters. This is why I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I ask you to share this video far and wide. Hell, mirror it on your channel if you want to, as long as more people see it. I ask this not because I crave YouTube fame or shekels, but because I don't want to let him flush this incident down the memory hole. He carelessly let his mask slip and revealed more about himself than he intended to. Let's make sure it isn't quickly forgotten.